friend of God. Welcome to day 3. In this 40 days devotional, we are learning the blessing of God's law. Yesterday, we saw that God's law of the 10 Commandments is a revelation of His character, which is a revelation of love. In the 10 Commandments, God reveals to us how to love Him and how to love one another. So when one allows the Spirit to write God's law on the heart, He is putting love in our hearts. Becoming a loving person is one of the greatest blessings of God one can receive. This is because love is the only way to achieve true happiness in life. By nature, we are prone to sin. We are prone with a heart of sin, which leads us to be unloving people. This lack of true love in the heart leads to selfishness, pride, jealousy, anger, bitterness, anxiety, and the list can go on and on. But such sinful attitude can only lead to unhappiness. They can also cause one's feelings to be easily hurt by something said or some action interpreted against him or her. Yeah. So for example, if sin is in your heart, you will feel anger, bitterness, and jealousy if someone gets a promotion that you believe you should have gotten. Of course, this will lead to a feeling of unhappiness and discontent on the job, which will be felt every day, both on the job and at home. God does not want His children to hold on to these negative, harmful feelings. There are many counsels in the Bible warning us against these sinful feelings. Apostle Paul cautions us of this in 2 places. The first is in Ephesians 4, verse 26 and 27. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. In Hebrews 12, verse 14 and 15, it says, follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. You see, God has made it possible for the Spirit to write His law on our hearts, which will cause God's image of love to grow in our own hearts. In 2 Corinthians 3, verse 3, it says, for as much as ye are manifestly declared to be the epistle of Christ, ministered by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not in tables of stone, but in fleshy table of the hearts. In 2 Corinthians 3, verse 18, but we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. Wow. So what a blessing it is to have God's love, God's law of love in our own hearts. Yes. Apostle Paul describes what a loving Christian is like in 1 Corinthians 13 verse 14 and 15. It reads, "Love is very patient and kind, never jealous or envious, never boastful or proud, never haughty or selfish or rude. Love does not demand its own way. It is not irritable or touchy. It does not hold grudges and will hardly even notice when others do it wrong." Wow. How wonderful by God's grace to become an individual whose feelings are never hurt and who never experiences any of the other negative feelings listed in these two verses. I believe that is the goal that God has for every believer of Jesus Christ. For us to get to that stage. Also, it is the love of self that destroys our peace. While self is all alive, we stand ready continually to guard it from mortification and insults. But when we are dead and our life is hid with Christ in God, we shall not take negligence or slight to heart. When our life is hid in Christ in God, we shall not take neglect or slight to heart. We shall be deaf to reproach and blind to scorn and insults. There is a peace one can have when love is in the heart. It describes the victory over pride Christ can give to us if we let Him. I call it victory over pride. When you are forgotten or neglected on purpose, and you can smile inwardly, glorifying in the insults or the oversights, that is victory. When your good is even spoken of, when your wishes are crossed, your taste offended, your service disregarded, your opinion ridiculed, and you take it all in, patient and loving silence, that is victory. When you are content with any food, any raiment, any climate, any society, any solitude, any interruption, that is victory. When you can bear with discord, with wicked church ushers, with any unpunctualities, any annoyance, that is victory. When you can stand face to face with waste, folly, spiritual insensibility, and endure it all as Jesus did endure it, that is victory. This is the blessing we will experience when God's law of love is written in our hearts. Thank you for joining me today. See you tomorrow. Like, share, and follow. And I will leave some questions in the comments to make sure that you are following. Answer if you please. See you tomorrow.